It's a big week for housing and the government's policies in that space. Joining me is the Housing Minister, Clare O'Neil. The Housing Australia Future Fund, the first wave of that funding has been announced. Can you explain to our viewers the timeline and how many homes you're hoping to have built?
Sure. So this is a $10 billion fund that the Albanese government has put in place to help us fund more social and affordable homes for Australians. We know that there's lots of people at all sorts of different income levels worried about housing at the moment. The people who this is targeted at are key workers across the economy, women and children who are fleeing family violence, and older women who are likely to be possibly affected by homelessness in their future. So people I think all Australians are really concerned about. So this fund, we made the first announcement today. It will build 13,700 new homes for those particular people. They'll be right around the country. And
that's over what time frame?
So all of the money, all of the homes that are going to be built through the Housing Australia Future Fund have to be built within 5 years. The announcement made today has a whole variety of end dates. So we'll have tenants in some of those homes in this financial year. 40% of the 13,700 will start construction in this financial year. But some of these projects are really big and complicated, and so those ones will take a little bit longer.
Well, it's challenging already when I think many of our viewers would know those trying to build at the moment. There are bottlenecks still in the construction sector. Are you running up against a few of those as well?
Look, it's something that the government's really concerned about, and we're doing a huge amount of work on at the moment. So if I can just step back really quickly, we've got a housing crisis in our country that's been a generation in the making. And when we look at the causes of that, it's really the effect of our country hasn't been building enough homes over a period of about 30 years. And that's why we are where we are. All the issues people are having in rentals, in trying to buy a house, they all come back to the fact that we don't have enough homes. So in a sense, the answer to this is simple. We need to build, build, build. But the complexity here is that we've arrived in government with construction rates coming into a real dip. So the government at the moment is doing a whole lot of work with the states to try to improve capacity in construction and get that building back on track while we make those big investments to make sure that we help Australians in every possible way.
So, the fundamental question is, are these numbers achievable? 14,000 homes in its first wave. Do you think it's achievable?
Absolutely. I think the Housing Australia Future Fund investments are achievable. The thing that we're really focused on is building capacity. We need to build tens of thousands more houses in our country every year if we're going to make a real difference to this problem. So that's the work that we're doing at the moment with the states. It comes back to things like skills. We don't have enough tradies in our country, and you've seen our government make those huge commitments in training, in trying to support apprentices. It comes back to things like planning. So planning's a really big one. And of course, your viewers know that planning sits with state governments. One of the difficulties with housing is that there are responsibilities spread across the 3 levels of government. And that's why a big part of my job is working with the PM to actually work with those other levels of government to make sure that we're all making the right changes at the right time.
Are you surprised? Let's look at the Senate this week. You've got the Help to Buy proposal coming to the Senate. The Greens took a shared equity plan to the last election on their platform. They wanted to have basically a Help to Buy proposal. What's going on here? Why are they
look, I think this really demonstrates that this is all about politics at the end of the day for the Greens, not about people, and that's really disappointing. If I could just quickly just remind your viewers, the legislation you're talking about, Help to Buy, this is where we are going to, as a government, assist 40,000 key workers, people like nurses, like aged care workers, like childcare workers, get into home ownership. So who could be opposed to that? I mean, these are the people who are being locked out of housing at the moment, and the government is saying we can step in and effectively act as the bank of mum and dad and support their purchase. Now, as you point out, this was part of the Greens election platform in 2022. I thought they'd be all for this. Who doesn't want to get more childcare workers into housing? But actually the indications are that they're not planning to support that.
Is there a chance they might
well, look, I've got a really open mind about this because I'm really keen to get the legislation passed. One of the things that's really challenging about housing in our country is that we've got a broken political debate. We've got Labor, in my view, trying to do the right thing and lead the conversation, the Liberals saying no to everything, and the Greens kind of backing them in to do it. And that's a bit disappointing. On these issues, we need to set politics aside just for once so that we can get better outcomes for our citizens.
You're not giving up on it?
I'm not giving up, absolutely not.
Finally, this story, the ABC's had to pull one of their reports on war crimes. Heston Russell, a former commando, on Channel 7 last night, on Sky again today, he was saying there needs to be a parliamentary inquiry into this report. He's already won a defamation case against the ABC. Now this report, with doctored audio, according to forensic experts. What's your reaction to that? Do you think there should be a parliamentary look at this?
Look, I'll leave that to the Defence Minister to make a statement about Kieran. It sounds like a really important issue, but I'd like the Minister responsible to make a statement on behalf of the government on that one.
OK, we'll wait to hear from him. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Lovely. Good to talk to you.